channel. This is Candidly Chaotic. I share our homeschooling journey, mom life, and family adventures. So please hit the subscribe button if those things sound helpful or interesting to you. And it really does help out my channel when you hit that subscribe button. Plus, then you get to know when new content pops up. Today, I am sharing something that I'm really excited to share. I am sharing about reading. Now, this is kind of a 2-for-1 video. I hope it doesn't get too long. But it is about teaching your child to read. First of all, I want to share some encouragement if you are, starting that adventure of teaching your child to read, because I was really, really nervous. I know how important it is. It felt like a lot of pressure because if our children know how to read, it really unlocks doors for learning almost anything. And for me, I've always loved to read, and I've always found it kind of tragic when people don't love to read, because it can really offer you so much adventure and wonder, and you can learn so much from literature. And yes, I just love to read, and I think that when a child struggles with reading or just something happens that, doesn't help foster their love of reading, to me it's very heartbreaking, and I didn't want that for my child. And so I put a lot of pressure on it, and rightly so, but I do want to have some encouragement. This video will also be a review of All About Reading. I wanted to put those together. It didn't make sense for me to make 2 separate videos, I don't think. We'll see. Hopefully it's not too long. So first of all, the encouragement. If you are teaching your child how to read, I want to just say, yes, it's a big deal, but also, yes, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. The biggest things are to remember not to push your child too hard. They will learn how to read. They will. It just might be at a different pace than what we generally expect or what other kids are doing. But that's okay. That's the beauty of homeschooling and teaching our children on our own, is that we can help them to learn at their own pace. Also, I just want to say you can do it because you are their parent. You want what's best for them, and you are there in the trenches with them. So it is doable, and you can do it well. I hope I'm saying that right. I hope I'm getting across that I just really want to encourage you that this will be okay. Take a deep breath. I think that for a parent, especially a parent who, I'm not a trained teacher, I do think that the resources to help you as a parent succeed is very important. There are tons of different curriculum and resources for teaching your child to read. And so there's plenty available in all different price ranges, in all different types. So you can find something that fits you and your student and your family really, you can find something that fits you, all of your needs. You just have to kind of look around and figure out what your needs are. And so I do encourage you to research what and how you want to teach your child to read, what you think might suit you as the teacher and suit your child as the student for learning. And then once you have the right resource, all you and your child need is time. And of course, reading aloud to your child is always so important. It is so good for their little brains. So that is my encouragement corner, I guess, is you can do it. Get the right resources, find out what's best for you and your student, and then just give yourself and your student grace as you are learning. Now, one of those resources is All About Reading. This is a fairly well-known program, so it's not new. A lot of people have used it, and it is not the be-all end-all, though. I know it doesn't work for everyone. I think it can work for a lot of people, but there are some other really wonderful homeschool curriculum for reading and for and resources for teaching your child to read. So I would highly encourage you to watch and listen to and look up different reviews of All About Reading. So like I will be reviewing this today. Watch mine, watch other people's to get different perspectives, watch other reviews of other curriculum so you can find what will fit you best. So I'm going to just share a couple things about this to help kind of review this, or yeah, go my little review here. I will start with saying I loved All About Reading. We're using it again next year. It definitely is working for my son and it's working for me. It has what I need as the teacher and it has what he needs. At least I think it's what he needs because he's doing really well. Before I start the review, I will say my son is not an excelling reader and he's not a struggling reader. I feel like he's really somewhere in between those things. If that's helpful as a gauge for you as I'm reviewing this, he's doing great. There are a couple things that we need to work on, but he's doing really well with reading and this program has been wonderful. And I'll explain why as I go. So the contents, this is really important. This has a whole first section that really prepares you as the teacher. What's this program like? How do you use it? What are their, philosophies in teaching? How to set things up. That's really helpful. And I really appreciated having that so I didn't have to just jump in and not know what I was doing. This program is really set to help teach your child the phonograms and the rules. There are sight words, or they call them leap words because we haven't learned the rules yet. Most of them have rules. We just haven't learned them yet, but we want to have those words to make the stories more interesting. And so they don't do a ton of sight words or leap words. And that is pretty different than a lot of other reading programs. And so I will just say that easy readers, first level easy readers at the library, I can't pick up a ton of those for my son because the way that this program works. But I have used Bob books and we have Usborne's first little library. And so he's starting to get into those. Well, he's been into those. And we have the readers that come with it. And then there are easy readers that we can get from the library, just knowing that I may need to help him with some words that he's not familiar with, or, teach him a new word as we're reading, however that works out. And so it's been fine. And I don't find it as a detriment for how we are doing it. Some people don't like that. But like I said, for us, it has not been a problem. So like I said, this really focuses on the rules and teaching how the English language works. How do you decode the English language? And I just like my son has that base. So this program has the teacher's guide, which is super, super important. It has the student book, student activity book. It has 3 readers, which is fantastic. And they're not boring stories. Some of them are a little bit boring, but most of them my son loves. Even in the early one, my son thought some of them were quite funny and interesting. They're not, like see Spot ran, Spot done, whatever. I don't know that story, but those, it's more interesting than that. And so he has really appreciated that. I also wanted the color version because I just thought my son would enjoy having color. And they have the older versions that you can get for cheaper that are not in color, and that's totally fine. And some kids might need that for less distraction, I suppose, but I just appreciated having the color pictures. So it comes with the readers. It also needs, here's a lot. I did not get this box. I got my own. It comes with these dividers, the word cards, which are note card size. No, these are phonogram cards and word cards. They're both note card size, like 3x5 note card size. Comes with those, and they're on cardstock and they're perforated, and you rip them out. And it comes with the letter tiles, which are these little, they're this big. And they're laminated, and you can put magnets on the back of them, and the kids can manipulate them, and you manipulate them. You can also do their letter tiles app, which is free, and they also have the phonogram sound app, which is free. So it has all these things for you to teach your child how to read. And part of their philosophy is that they want it to be auditory, visual, and kinesthetic, because, you know, everybody learns differently, and you do have a dominant learning style, but also having all those different styles, no matter what your dominant learning style is, if you learn all the different ways, it can click. And so they want you using all the different ways. So that's all the stuff that it comes with. Now, when talking about the student activity book, it's technically, I think, sort of consumable. I would say at the beginning of the year, I thought it was completely consumable and I'd have to buy another one for my next student, and that's not true. Now I know, but it's a lot of word pages, and then there are different activities that you can cut out and do, but they can be reused so easily. And I'll have to buy a new one when my younger son does this, because I didn't know that at the beginning and I threw them away, or let them color on them and stuff. But they're just activities that there's no like gluing or writing on them really anyways, and so you can just reuse them. But you tear out a page, cut out some pages. These you cut them out, and then you do some stapling, but they can be reused. And so now I know. A lot of people put them in binders and page protectors. That is what I have started doing. That way, about halfway through, we will be able to reuse some things. But that's what comes in the student notebook. Now, what I really love about this, well, I like a lot of things about this program. For one thing, I like that I can move at my students' pace. It's a mastery type program, and so you do not move on from a lesson until your student has mastered it. So you can spend a whole entire week on one lesson if you need to, or you can like stop. I've stopped where we're at, had him just read to me some days in a row without learning anything new, and then come back to the lesson and try it again, and that's worked really well too. But also, if he really knows it, we just kind of like go through it and are done. The teacher manual is what makes me love this program so much, because it tells you the objective of the lesson, what you'll need. You can preview some things. They kind of talk to you a little bit here in this yellow section about the lesson and about what to expect. But then they go in and tell you exactly what to do. They tell you to review the phonogram cards that are behind your review divider. They tell you to review your word cards that are behind the review divider. And then on some lessons, it even tells you to go into the master divider, which if you get this program, you learn a little bit more about that. But once you master it, you don't really have to review it every day. But they do tell you on certain lessons, don't forget about the mastered section. Go ahead and review a couple from there. And so you're still keeping up with things that they've mastered. And so I really like that. But then it also just it talks me through how to teach. It tells me what to say, what to do. It even tells me like answers that my child maybe should be answering. And it goes through every part of the lesson, how I blend it, how I teach my child how to blend, what games that we can be playing. It will have these little tips about different games that we can be doing, and there's different, I have mine marked, there's different appendices. Appendix F, G, and H have tons of different games that go with the word cards, the phonogram cards, and the fluency pages that you read. And so it reminds you, hey, you could play this game. that's in this appendix, but then they're also there that I could play them anytime. And I really, really appreciate that. And then it tells you when to introduce the new words, when to do all the pages. And let's see. Also, as you're reading, as your student learns how to read and they're reading in the readers, it tells you what things to help your child to pay attention to, what questions to be asking them to help them with reading comprehension. It has different activities that is teaching them how to learn how to skim their, skim the story for answers. All these different things that come in this teacher book. It held my hand in the best way possible. And the more I learn about this program, the more I can make it our own. But at the beginning, I did exactly what they said because I was just so nervous. Now, I do mostly do what they say, but I also know how to make it our own. I know if my son is needing more time on a lesson, I take more time on the lesson and we do it a couple days. Or like I said, we might step away from it for a day or two if he's really struggling. We might step away from it for a day or two and doing something else and then come back. I know when we can just zoom through it because it was easy for him. Yeah, I love that it's all here for me. It's basically open and go once I cut out and prep those activity pages. It's basically open and go then. I really appreciate that, and I also really appreciate that I can make it be as low-key as I want it to be, or there are so many different game and activity options that I can really ramp it up if we're having a day that kind of lends itself to that kind of thing. I wanted to pop this in here. I feel like I was kind of skirting around this truth here, but that it can be gentle and you can move faster if you want to, but also more importantly, it gives a great solid foundation. Like I don't feel like there's any gaps. I feel like my son is really getting the foundation he needs to build his reading skills. So that is my review for All About Reading. I think it is a great, framework for learning how to read, for teaching your child how to read. I think it's a good one, in my opinion. It's not the only one, I know that, but it's been great for our family. I can see where, if my child was struggling a little bit more with reading, I can see where this would be really helpful because there have been some concepts that he's struggled with a little bit more, and so we've been able to use the extra helps that they have in the back of the book as well. So if you have used All About Reading, I would love to hear from you. Please let us know, let me know and other people know in the comments if it worked for you, or what reading program worked for you if it wasn't All About Reading. Let's just share, what works for us. That way other people can learn from us. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in another video really soon.